Today we're going to create a slow drip irrigation system using just a couple of household items, and this is something great for you to have, especially if you live in a dry area like I do, because it prevents all of your water from evaporating, which can happen even if you water in the evenings if it's as hot as it is here in Austin. And so this is a great way to get to the root of your tomatoes, especially whenever you're feeding them their compost tea. Tomatoes really like to be deep root feeders. So if you're creating shallow root systems for your plants, they're not going to do as well here in this hot environment. And this is a great way to draw the roots of your plants down by kind of watering almost underneath them, and they will seek after that. So all you need is a drill, or you could use a hammer and a small nail, just something that you could use to create small pinholes. A plastic bottle of some sort. This was, I think, sparkling water with the cap intact, and either a kitchen knife or X-Acto knife or some sort, or something like that. So what we're going to do here is, you probably already know what the concept is. We're going to drill 2 small holes into the lid of this water bottle. Okay. And once I do that, I like to take, if there's a plastic lining inside of that lid, I like to take my knife here and I just like to peel that plastic back away from the, away from the holes that I just created, so that I can ensure that none of that plastic is going to flap over and get into obstruct my holes. So I just cut a little of that back. Now, normally what you would do at this point is you would fill your water bottle halfway full, you would replace the cap, and you would just set it somewhere and time, and you want that water to take about 20 minutes to evacuate. About 20 minutes to evacuate. You want to do that prior to cutting the bottom. Once you've tested your slow drip system, which I've already made another one, so I think this one's going to be okay, you're going to take some sort of cutting instrument, and about halfway down the bottle, depending upon how deep you want to create it. If you're doing this in the ground, you want it to go down as far as you can get it. So, about halfway. I like these pointy bottles because they're easier to get into the ground. So we're going to cut that in half. And then we're going to plant it next to our tomato. So, I just like to pull this tomato plant back. I'm going to look at where I want the roots to run. They're going to go straight down. So I'm going to start here. Be very careful when you're doing this, especially with peppers or any of these other deep root plants. You don't want to hurt the root of your plant. So just kind of start ease back. This is a really big tomato. I should have already caged it, but just starting here, creating a wall to where you're going down right in line with the plant. Just being very aware of what is there in the soil. You don't want to be cutting any roots or damaging the plant at all. But I'm going to go fairly deep. And if I was burying this in the ground, I would want the bottom of the container to be flush with the ground. Sometimes in a garden box, that's not necessarily feasible. You can see one that I've already planted. So, I like to take the tip of the bottle, hollow out a space there with that, and then just push that out in your garden bed. Get all that mud out. You don't want anything to obstruct your flow. Once we have a nice little hole dug pointing at the root system, we've got a nice little crevasse there that this lid can fit in. I'm going to place this back here in that spot, not compressing it too much because we don't want to, once again, block our holes. Try not to get any dirt down into the reservoir tank of your water bottle. I'm going to fill this all, pack this all back in. You can see one that I've already done here that I'm using to water my tomatoes. And this is great whenever you're pouring your compost tea in. And then once you have all of your dirt packed in around here, you want to make sure you don't get any in the reservoir. Then you're just going to fill this with water all the way up. And that will slowly leach out to the roots of your tomato. You'll draw those roots down for this hot summertime, and you'll be watering and you'll be saving so much water, so it's a great idea.